This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by lynda.com, the unparalleled online video training library. For a free 10-day unlimited trial, visit lynda.com/MacVoices. And by Drobo, a family of safe, expandable, yet simple-to-use storage arrays. Visit drobo.com/MacVoices and use the offer code VOICES100 for special pricing for MacVoices viewers and listeners. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the Talk of the Mac community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this time I get to welcome back an old friend. We've had him here before. You know him, you love him, you know his products, you love his products, or at least I do. Mr. Oliver Breidenbach of Boinx Software. Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back on the show.
It's great to have you, but with this whole setup here, you're making me look bad. I mean, all I've got is this office. You've got all this great stuff.
Yeah, we've got a TV studio here, so we have to show it off a little bit.
Next time you're over here, maybe you can help me build one. I think I could use some help.
That's a standing offer, you know. So I told you that a long time ago.
Oh boy. Somehow never mind. I see money going out the window. So this time we're here to talk about something new from you, or is it new? I'm not quite sure, called PhotoWall.
Yeah, it is new. It's a new product for the Apple TV, for the new Apple TV, since Apple allows now to have third-party apps on the Apple TV. We thought we have to do something, and we already had an idea that we have from a previous app that we already did once called PartySnapper, and so we thought this new Apple TV is the perfect platform for this product, and we rebooted it as PhotoWall Plus and made a new app. Basically, it's a new app because it's a little different on the platform, but it's basically the same idea that we had before, but now it works much better than it used to.
Okay, so before we get into PhotoWall, I want to make sure we establish how PartySnapper is progressing. Has it been sunsetted, or is it going to continue in its current form, or how is that going to work?
It's going to continue in its current form until we get around to rework it. We'll probably apply a lot of things that we learn with PhotoWall to PartySnapper and rebrand it at some future point. But right now, the PhotoWall is a new app. It's exclusive. It's just a TV app. It's just for the Apple TV. And we've got a new companion app for the iPhone called PhotoWall Plus Camera. And that PhotoWall Plus Camera is used to send pictures to the PhotoWall. But you can also use the PartySnapper app to send photos to the PhotoWall because we're using the same protocols.
Got it. And before we go on, I want to put in a plug for PartySnapper. I used it recently at one of our company's events, and everyone absolutely just went wild over it. They thought it was great. It added something a little bit extra to it, and we'll talk about how some other things work. But folks, if you're interested in PartySnapper, just go back a few shows. Oliver and I talked about PartySnapper. He can explain it there as to what it does, but it does everything he says and more. So. Great product.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Well, and I'm really anxious to see what you've done with PhotoWall because, as you say, this is a bit of an evolution from PartySnapper.
Yeah. So thank you for the kind words about PartySnapper, and basically all of that applies to PhotoWall Plus as well. PhotoWall Plus is I can give you a quick demo here.
Okay.
PhotoWall Plus is running on an Apple TV on my left here on the new Apple TV. I just launched the app, so this is basically the first time this app is running. It's empty, no photos there yet. But I can create a new photo wall, and I get to choose a name. And as you see, the names are already a suggestion of what we think might be good use cases for PhotoWall Plus. Although our customers certainly surprise us with more, I'm sure of that. So let's do an office party, and now the office party is available on the network, and you can download the PhotoWall Plus camera app onto your iPhone and start sending pictures to the to the PhotoWall, as my coworker Bastian is doing already. So we now see the first image has come in, and as he takes more pictures and submits them to the PhotoWall, they get added to the presentation, the slideshow, and here's me doing the interview with you, so Bastian again. And so this is something to amp up your event, put up a screen somewhere and let people have fun at the party. People love sharing their photos, love taking pictures with their iPhones, and why not tap into that for a bit of fun? And in the end, when the party is done, you've got a lot of pictures taken from different points of views, not just yours or the photographer you hire, but all the party guests. There might be moments that you missed, or you were in a different room or whatever, but one of your guests is bound to be there and taking a picture of it. And that's basically the great thing about PhotoWall, is that you have all the pictures in your possession. You don't have to go around and ask everybody, send me your pictures. They are already in your domain.
Now, that's one of the things I wanted to ask. However, in PartySnapper, of course, we were using an iPhone or an iPad as the device that was running the host software. Since this is running on an Apple TV, where do those photos get aggregated?
So this is one thing we had to change from PartySnapper. As the Apple TV, this is now getting a little technical for people who want to know. The new Apple TV doesn't have the concept of local storage. Apps can't store data on the device. They can store it for intermediate temporary purposes, but the operating system may remove those data whenever it needs more space for a movie that you want to download or something like that. So what we do is we actually store the photos and the photo walls in your iCloud account, and we do have a web app that you can use to access them and download them, to share them on Facebook, or upload them to any service you want, or just to keep them in your photo library.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. So you still have that capability. They're just going someplace a little bit different. Yes.
Yeah. with the added benefits that they are already in a relatively safe place. Once you're done with your party, someone grabs your steals your Apple TV or something, the photos are still there in the iCloud. So
right. Now that obviously assumes that you have a connection to iCloud. I'm thinking
yes.
the particular situation I use PartySnapper in, I did not have that. I set up a Wi-Fi network that I just used for PartySnapper, but it did not have any outside connectivity. In that case, do I still get to aggregate the photos in any fashion, or is it just a matter of they will display and that's all?
They will display, and they should upload once you reconnect the Apple TV to a network that has a connection to the iCloud. So that is a little shaky maybe, but it should work.
Okay. All right. Good to know. I also want to point out, and I feel like I'm doing the demo because I know how many great capabilities there are here. You're doing a lot of slides and drop transitions here, but there are a lot of other transitions, and you knew what I was going to say. Yes.
So we've got a couple of themes that you can use to present the photos. For example, my favorite one is the stream thing. That's the one where you might have seen it in the Photos app on the iPad, I think. There's this mode where you can have a continuous stream of pictures coming in and scoring through the display. And I think that's a very fun one because there's always something on the screen that's fun to look at.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Oliver, I know that we've talked about this before too with PartySnapper, that there is just this much concern that maybe somebody might think it's funny to take inappropriate pictures and have them sprayed up on the wall. Does PhotoWall introduce any security measures as far, because again, folks, a key point here is that you can give the whole party. If you have a party of 100 people, theoretically everybody at the party can be taking pictures and they get transmitted to PhotoWall.
Yeah, so right now there's no security in terms of who's access to the app. So if you want to prevent people from being able to submit photos, you should create a closed Wi-Fi network where you have to give people the code to get onto. If you have an open Wi-Fi network or if you've set up peer-to-peer networking, then people can submit pictures from their phones without any restrictions. You can, once you've got photos, if you have inappropriate ones, you can go to the menu and you can, oops, this one is the wrong button. You have to press long and you can hide the photo in the photo wall and say, I want to keep this photo, but I don't want to show it anymore because it might be offending to someone or something. Or you can say, I delete this image outright so that you don't even keep a copy of it. So that's basically now currently the options you have.
Okay, that's good. You would hope that people will do the right thing, but once in a while, somebody gets a little too much to drink and goes a little crazy.
Well, I think we should have the social abilities to deal with that face to face. It's like you go up to the person and tell them not to do it again. And yeah, I think that should be enough. If you are the kind of party where that's not enough, maybe the whole purpose of the screen is to have offending pictures, and nobody cares anyway. But I think that is in most practical use cases for the app should be no problem because you know the people who are there and you have to talk to them. And if you are running a bigger event, you might want to go with the closed Wi-Fi solution and just pick the photographers. And still, it's better to have like 20 people add photos than to have just one person and then download them after the event and then post them somewhere. It's much more fun and much more engaging to just have the photos that are taken at the event shown at the event. That's the key issue. The key proposition here.
Yeah, that's what I found, Oliver. It was so much fun and of course, a lot of people had never seen anything exactly like this. So I could take a photo and then say, okay, turn around, look at the screen, and there it was.
Yeah, that's the fascinating thing about it for people is like the immediacy. It's like they haven't seen that before.
Yeah. And another thing that I had to learn just to be sure, it seems obvious, but it's funny, once you start using these things, you're not quite sure. Let's just say you have already taken 10 photos and it's displaying in sequence number 7. When you take that next photo, it goes up and drops right in. It's not like it has to go 8, 9, 10 and then take your new photo. So as soon as you take it, it goes right to the photo wall.
Yeah, that's the key thing, right? Is you want to see you're not gonna shoot pictures all the time, but you want to see pictures all the time. So the slideshow has to go on and on and on. And then if you shoot a new photo, you might want to have that up on the screen immediately, and that's the new content, right? That's the one you want to see. And then there you are. That's where we met at Macworld, I think.
Yeah, I think is that Macworld or I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
no. But the first looks thing.
Fashion had to pull that out of the
guy
archives.
next to next to you.
Yeah,
there.
I'm not. Oh, yes, I remember his product. I don't remember his name, but I remember his product.
I don't know where Bastian taking where he takes these pictures from.
Bastian, stop.
He can't hear you.
He better hear me.
All right.
So let's get down to the obvious things people are interested in.
See how much fun this is.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What did I say about embarrassing photos and things you want to restrict?
No. You look good on these.
This will run on any current iPhone for picture taking, correct?
Yeah, the picture app runs on, I'm not sure if we have iOS 9 as a requirement. I don't know. Maybe, yes. Bastian nods his head. So it's iOS 9. But then it's all the devices that support iOS 9. So iPads, iPhones, iPod Touches. Yeah.
Anything can be used to send a picture to PhotoWall. What's the pricing for the Apple TV app?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I always forget about that part. So we do have an introductory sale going on at 99 cents. It's ending this Friday, so if you want to take advantage of that, you should go and do it really fast. After that, we don't know yet, but the regular price is $4.99. We might extend the introductory price a little bit, maybe, depending on if Apple decides to feature this or not. Because we want to keep it as affordable as possible, but also I think $4.99 is actually the fair price for this kind of app.
I disagree. I think the fair price is a whole lot more because this really does it solve a problem? Not exactly, but it gives you a great capability. And the event we did it for was a corporate event, but you can probably just imagine a wedding. You know, the days of having all those little crazy portable disposable cameras sitting on everybody's table to take pictures with, and then you gather those up and get all the pictures developed. This way, you get you get all the photos, you get them live right there, no restrictions, no anything. People just take them, download the app. The app is brain dead simple to use, and it's so much fun, and it's such a new dimension because all of a sudden everybody can see everything.
You should take over my part in this.
I just know.
So yeah, it's good that you mention weddings, because actually that's what PhotoWall Plus was invented for, and PartySnapper before that. Is Bastian, he's featured a lot in our stories. He came up with this idea for his own wedding, and we coupled together a prototype that worked with AppleScript and ugly stuff. And after the wedding, it was such a success that we thought it might be a good idea to make a proper product that's easy to use out of it. And PartySnapper is the result of that, and now PhotoWall Plus is one step along in the evolution.
Well, I know what a difference it made in our event. And of course, you always have that little hesitancy that should I rely on something like this? And given that it's Boinx software, I decided to take the leap, and it just performed flawlessly, no problem.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it gathered up all the photos for us and was really quite an addition to the event. So, folks, I can't stress enough. Go check it out at 99 cents or $4.99, or if you just want to send Oliver a bigger check, that's fine too. I think he'll take it.
Yes, absolutely.
Today's edition of MacVoices is sponsored by lynda.com, the unparalleled online video training library. Get a full free 10-day trial at lynda.com/MacVoices. I could spend pretty much every information spot for lynda.com telling you about the great new courses they're adding, because they're always adding great new courses. In-depth courses, courses for tech, business, personal development, video production, photography, and much more. Courses like problem solving for web professionals, which is interesting even if you're not a web professional. Teamwork fundamentals, because everyone has to work in teams sooner or later. Exploring Photoshop, mastering curves. Just one of so many great Photoshop titles. Foundations of IT security, core concepts, for those wanting to get into IT security. I can think of a couple companies who have been in the news recently who could really have used this. Media training, a course I wish every single person who ever worked a trade show booth would watch, rather than having to go look for someone with media training. Or designing icons for the web, because an eye-catching icon can make all the difference in the perception and success of a product. Those are just a few of the very latest titles in lynda.com's ever-growing library of great training titles that can teach you something about just about anything. You can watch what you want, when you want. And with lynda.com's iOS app, you can watch where you want by downloading courses to your iPhone or iPad. No internet connection necessary. You should really think about joining lynda.com and learning something new. Right now, by visiting lynda.com/MacVoices, you can give it a try for a full 10 days of unlimited viewing, unlimited topics, free. Just sign up and start watching. Any course, any subject, new or old, it's yours for the viewing. At the end of 10 days, you will realize just how much you've come to rely on lynda.com as a place to go not only to learn new skills, but also to improve existing talents. That's lynda.com/MacVoices for your 10 free days of learning. Do it right now and learn something new today. Thanks to lynda.com for their support of MacVoices. Oliver, let's just shift to the tech side for a second. How was it developing for the Apple TV? This is Boinx's first app on Apple TV.
Yeah, it's the first app. It's fairly straightforward to move from iOS to tvOS. It's basically the same things. There's a lot of stuff missing. There's also a little bit more that's not on iOS. So they have this new way to create a user interface on tvOS that's basically designed for TV stations. So it's a template that allows you to list all your videos. So it would be perfect for MacVoices. Fairly easy to set up. Basically content driven. So you set up a server that delivers the content and the design for the content, and basically the app. All the app does is display a UI and lets you choose the videos to play. We didn't use that because our app is quite different from the usual Apple TV content apps that are usually just a catalog of videos that you can play. But in terms of what new things we had to learn, it's the first app also that uses iCloud, and that was a lot of work to learn and master. And but otherwise, it's the same APIs as on iOS, and a lot of things work similar. And so it wasn't a really big challenge. It was a lot of work, though.
Well, sure. How about the process of submitting to the TVOS store? I'm not even sure what they're calling it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's iTunes Connect. You upload your app. You submit it for review. And the review for Apple TV for PhotoWall Plus went very, very, very smooth. Usually we almost expect at least one rejection and one iteration to fix stuff they don't like. But this time we had no issues at all. They just waved it through, or approved. They approved it almost with no complaints. So that was we were a little bit proud of that because that didn't happen before. So it was also a little bit surprising. So a lot of the back-end developer stuff seems a little bit unfinished, though. It's kind of strange that there's no way to buy the app outside of the Apple Store, outside of the App Store on the Apple TV. So you can't buy it in iTunes or on the website, or they have this link to App Store feature in iTunes Connect, and that should give you a link that you can place on your website where people can click, and then it will send them to the Apple server, and the Apple server redirects you to iTunes, and then you can purchase an app inside iTunes. And that doesn't work for TVOS apps. It just gives you this app is not available on the App Store message. And that, I mean, if the link doesn't work, the error message is even more, puzzling, because why don't they just put up a website that shows the same content and says, go to the App Store on the Apple TV and buy this thing? So it seems a little bit unfinished. Also, the App Store on the Apple TV still lacks the appropriate category for PhotoWall Plus. So we've put it in lifestyle, which is maybe the closest we can get with the categories that are there. And so we have to see what's changing, what's improving there on the store side. It seems as if they can update the store without having to update the Apple TV software. That's a good thing. Initially there were no categories at all on the App Store, and now they've started introducing new categories. They've started introducing the top lists, and that's I think you can call that progress, but it's a little bit interesting to see that there are still a lot of things missing that the iOS ecosystem already has.
So, I mean, it's good to hear that you think there's progress being made. It probably shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that there are a few rough spots. But it's also good to hear that you had, it sounds like a positive experience developing for the Apple TV. And
on the developing side, yes, it's the tools are as good as they are for iOS. Apple was very generous with giving out the developer kits, free Apple TVs for everyone, and that was a big help because it allowed us to actually test software on the device and not just in the emulator, which is always a kind of a different thing, especially with the new remote that is very hard to emulate on in the emulator with just on-screen controls. The way you control this trackpad thingy, I don't know what the name for that is actually, but it's very good and it's very intuitive, and it's very hard to emulate. So it was good that they sent us devices that we could try the apps with before they went on sale.
It does present an interesting challenge. I'm thinking about the discussions we've had about Apple Watch. Now you're talking about the controller for the Apple TV. There's some things that just, unfortunately, emulation or trying to figure it out ahead of getting it in your hand or on your wrist, as the case may be, it just is not a good idea. You really need that experience, I think, to properly understand it and appreciate it. I think that's one thing we're starting to see Apple Watch apps get better, and I think we're going to see Apple TV apps get even more, improve more as people get used to using these devices and developers get used to the ideas of what they can do with them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So one thing I noticed, I do have an Apple Watch, but I still, in the daily use, it has some cool things it does, but I'm not running around and thinking, would that be cool on the Apple Watch? Would that be cool on the Apple Watch? The Apple TV, however, is a device where I constantly think about new things that you could do with it. It's a perfect information system because you have a big screen in your office, maybe a TV, and you hook up an Apple TV to it, and you can use it for all kinds of visualization stuff, like panics, status board on the iPad. I would love to see that on the Apple TV because it's I could imagine putting up all kinds of information on the Apple TV. I have a lot of ideas that come to my mind when I use the Apple TV, which is, of course, the PhotoWall Plus we could do, but the other things we can't do everything. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources. But there's a lot of ideas. in the app on the Apple Watch, I don't have so many ideas. That's kind of like it seems to work quite well with the fitness stuff, and fitness is not really my kind of thing, and so maybe the Apple Watch is just not for me.
Yeah. And it's just like I think so many Apple devices, it's going to find its niche in your life if it fits your life, and if it doesn't, maybe there's something that fits better somewhere else.
Yeah, I can see that some people might think that the Apple TV is sort of like super, it's unnecessary, but I think it's a very cool device.
Right. So I want to be sure we're very clear on this. The PhotoWall app on the Apple TV can only be purchased from the TVOS store on the Apple TV, but yes, the photo apps the apps that deliver photos to it, you can find on the iOS app store, just like any other app.
Yes.
Okay.
They're just and there's a link on our website. You see the URL in the screen right now, PhotoWall.plus. If you add a /cam to it, it'll send you right to the App Store.
Okay, I'll make sure that I have that in the show notes. And that app, the one in the iOS store to send apps to PhotoWall is free.
That's free, yes.
That's free.
Because we don't want to have to turn party hosts into sales people for our app.
I think that's very smart. Very smart. It'll increase adoption of this, no doubt. So I think it's probably fair to say that we have more coming from Boinx. I keep getting little tidbits of information that maybe there are other things in the works.
Yeah, you see one of them in action right now.
I kind of thought I did.
Yeah, that's the next thing we're working on for quite a while. It's called Mimo Live. It's the evolution of Boinx TV. We changed the name a little bit to adapt to market requirements. It's the Mimo Live is the multi-in, multi-out live video editing system, and it's quite amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward when the time has come. When it's ready to come out of the oven. I look forward to talking to you about it and hearing a lot more detail.
If your viewers want to give it a try, it's currently in beta. You can go to boinx.com/mimolive/beta and download a beta copy and sign up for the beta license key, and we'll send you one right away, and you can start playing around with it and let us know how you like it.
Great. Thank you. So PhotoWall Plus, it's on sale until Friday. This show will probably go out either Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, so you will have at least a day and a half, 2 days to take advantage of the sale if it doesn't get extended. But it's still, folks, it's well worth the $4.99 list price if you don't get to this until later. Trust me, it really is. Oliver, it's great to see you. It's great to see you. We got to meet on the first tee this year, and I hope we get to do it again next year.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I hope I can come, or we are in the same area sometime next year and find a way to the golf course.
I certainly hope so too, because we sure had a lot of fun the last time.
Yes, we did.
Not sure
you're so much better than I.
I don't know. I'm not sure we played well, but we had a good time.
Good time. That's the whole point of golf.
Exactly. So we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. As you can tell, this is a totally unbiased interview because I'm a fan of Boinx Software. I'm definitely a fan of PartySnapper, and I'm about to be a fan of PhotoWall, no question. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.